Sori.
I'm Sori.
That's Sodi.
Sodi?
As in sodium. Somebody came up with the name Sodi.
Oh.
I think it was a big homie Dan, actually.
But...
Dan, suck it up, you weak son of a bitch, Pogmore, whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I didn't know that all salt has... Oh, no, that's iodine. They always add to iodine. Yes, I do know that salt has sodium. Okay. Well...
Salt. Okay, go ahead, continue. I'm just drinking my Red Bull.
You're mocking me.
I'm drinking my Red Bull.
Salt is sodium?
I'm drinking my Red Bull, Sorry.
Sometimes when you're smart, it's so sexy, and sometimes it's annoying.
I'm just drinking my Red Bull.
When you make that face and you're laughing at me.
Are we gonna play Fortnite later?
I feel okay right now, in this moment.
I want to set up that Twitch thing. Okay.
Yep, we might do that. Okay.
Speaking of which, we're breaking up the channel.
We are.
So we're taking all.
But that's good news.
All the fireside, all that stuff is going to a separate channel.
Right. Are you saying the name?
No. We had a name contest, and a guy named Vincent won.
What do you get? What does he get? Kiss?
Yeah, I came up with a badass title. It's very smart.
Yes,
and,
I liked it.
We're pretty excited. So, shout out to Bricktown Media, who's our
he's killing it.
Producer extraordinaire.
Oh my word!
Right now he's with us, but when we stop putting all the slave labor on the big homie, if you need him, we know how to get to him because he can do good work for you. All the thumbnails we've done, we've got P. I don't know if he wants us to reveal his real name. P does all our fireside thumbnails.
Yep.
All the other thumbnails you've seen, probably since the announcement about Sori, have come from Bricktown.
Yeah.
And P. So thank you guys very much.
Word,
He's just done a ton of work. He's a ton of work. A lot of behind the scenes workers. Dan set us up with a pretty major opportunity. So just a lot of things going in the background.
Yep. Pony does the uploading stuff to the podcast. All that stuff that I can't sometimes I can just barely get through the recording.
The recording. All right.
Okay, where in the world is
the village?
Me? Oh, that's right, the village.
It's the village.
I know, but I know that we've already been over this, but that's what I think when I see it. I'm like, yes! Guys, I'm in Chile!
Me! Sorry, secret shirt by the big homie Saleh.
Yep.
Shout out to Saleh and his students over there in Chile.
Yeah.
What's the name of the school?
I don't know. It always looks like something like Africa.
Listen to your teacher.
Yeah.
You rebellious bastards.
And get your rest.
Oh, cut that out, Saleh. We love you, students.
He's going to send you some really hot powder for me to cook with.
All right.
I'm actually pretty excited about that. He loves spicy.
I'm excited about this. This
okay,
is a Patreon
so this is a Patreon pick.
Patreon pick. This is Alice in Hell by Annihilator.
So if you're wanting to get a song picked and you're dying to get it picked, well, the best way to get that done is to go on patreon.com. You can donate as little as $1 per month. We're trying to go full time, as you guys know. Hopefully before the baby's born. But anyway, so you donate $1 a month, and then that dollar translates to a point, or depending on how much you donate, will translate to more points. And then you join an alliance of people, and then you guys be like, hey, one time there was
your points.
Yeah, one time there was this guy that was like, this song is super important to me for this reason, and everybody was like, you know what? We'll all put our points in for you. And then it got his song bumped to the top of the list and got reviewed. So
that's how you get fast track.
And it's a cool way to meet people and get friends and because they talk throughout the week and try to figure out ways to
sub communities and stuff like that. People support each other. It's really, really cool.
So if you're kind of somebody that's kind of ends up being introverted or stuck to yourself and not really getting out and meeting people, this is a great way to do it because you're able to.
We've got the most unique, best YouTube channel of all time. We really, really do. Okay. Yeah. This one guy just signed up for $20 on Patreon. It's like, motherfucker's gonna be after you, my guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big snag.
Remember when you used to go into I don't know if you're familiar with this. Maybe that was really racist for me to even just say that.
Yeah,
a furniture store.
It's probably racist.
Do you remember when you go did your people ever go into a furniture store? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they all Anyway, shout out to Kent. Brother, we're with you right now. And in our prayers. Okay, ready?
Yep.
And it's my computer's
It's never a good sign.
And go. Ooh. Nice. I like that. I feel scared. I don't know what's coming.
It's called Alison Hell.
Yeah.
Wonderful, living life afraid. Now look around the corner, I might be lurking there. Come to the bed at night, you're out till dawn again. Your mind begins to fold. Aren't you growing cold? You are looking blue. What else can you do? I begin my rule, like hideous in your mind. Crying out you've lost your doll, it isn't worth a dime. Your mind begins to fold. Aren't you growing cold? What are you looking for? Soon I close the door. Sitting in the corner, wanting to lose. trapped insanity. Ow! What were you looking for? Ow! As I close the door. Ow! Here you shall dwell. Ow! Earth's frozen hell.
Yikes.
Oh my gosh.
Bah!
Oh.
Halloween! Fear!
Wow, okay. Yikes.
Okay, so this was a instrumental that went into
Another song?
Another song.
Oh.
So those sons of bitches.
Oh, okay.
They double timed us.
Totally tricked us. Okay, the instrumental at the beginning was really great. I really enjoyed that. You know what it was? You know what I kept picturing? It's like a soundtrack for when we go on our different little trips where we do stuff like we're like going through the city trying to find that spot to eat, and then we found ourselves at the top of Earl's with the nice lights, and like it was just because it had like a fast-paced sound to it, but it also had like a romantic sound to it because it kind of had a Spanish flair, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it had that like finger picking.
Yeah, some
Spanish
of
flair
that
shit.
dancing.
Yeah. Although I thought the song was called Crystal Ann, Alison Hell, so I'm like, I was using the hell thing. So I had a journey in my mind, but it was like the journey to hell.
Yeah, you know what? That was messing with me at first. And then I was like, no, I can't let them dictate to me how I'm going to experience the music. I don't care if they created it.
Can't let the artist dictate to you what.
No, how dare they? No, so I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I want to see what where would this music take me if I didn't have the name?
Hell.
No, it didn't. It took me on the journey. Well, unless you want to call a journey with you hell.
Sometimes you act as if it is.
Well, sometimes it's rough. I'm sure it's not nice when I slam a door. You know what I did? This is right before we found out that I was pregnant. I felt so off, like, and then, like, I started getting really upset about, like, now I look back, it would be like getting upset about the color of the paint on the walls or something. It was really ridiculous. And then I went around the side, I got out of the car, because we were home, and I went around the side of the car, and then I opened up his side of the door, I said something to him, and then I slammed the door, and I didn't know his leg was there. I thought since I opened it, if I would close it, it would just go back in the same spot, but apparently his leg kind of, like, went out. Anyway, I kind of closed it on his leg. And then, so, like, that's been, like, this, like, running thing that we'll talk about when I slam the door on him. And that wasn't that long ago because we found out I was pregnant, like, 8 weeks ago, because we're 12 weeks now. Anyway, babe, I'm sorry. You shouldn't do that to people.
Well, that's when I knew. I was like, she's pregnant.
Yeah, and then you were saying it, and I was like, there's no way I'm pregnant. And that just made me feel worse because it took me like 9 years. I had a miscarriage, and then all those years, 9 years waiting to get pregnant. I'm like, it's never going to happen. And then, so when you're saying it's pregnant, it's like, no, I'm not. I'm never going to be. All the while I was. Anyway, so that song. So I didn't let it dictate to me. The name, I didn't let it dictate.
So the instrumental, you took that as what?
Well, it was like a journey to hell at first, and then I'm like, no, like I don't think that's where I would go with this type of a song. So I'm like, forget the name. Where does it take me naturally? And then I just pictured like Good Times with You. Like I was picturing that's when we were going around in Boston, and then like it was fast paced, and that's how it was when we were trying to find a place to eat because it was like friggin' 2 o'clock in the morning almost. So we were like booking it around the city trying to find something that was open, that wasn't just a convenience store.
Right.
And then we bumped into Earl's, and when we got to Earl's and we went upstairs, and like it was all so pretty up in there, and there was like nobody there, and we were just sitting out on this patio with these really, really pretty lights. It was very romantic. And then, yeah, so just picturing stuff like that, like the life that I live with you is like totally different than my upbringing and all years past. Like, it's wild sometimes.
Magic carpet ride, babe.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's where that went. Plus, there's always like a level of romance and excitement with stuff that goes on with you, because I don't know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
And then it like went into this this other song.
I'm actually glad that we got to listen to both songs side by side because I'm a big fan of range.
Oh yeah, these people have some range.
You know, so like
Yeah.
if you can be good,
Yeah.
you can be good with a broad range. It's like this is like two different bands.
Oh yeah, it totally felt like two
Like
different
two
bands.
different bands, like you know.
No, it's not. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying like two different bands that like really top of their game type
Oh, yeah.
level. Like like their instrumentation was insane.
Yeah, and don't like misunderstand what I'm trying to say here. Like, I don't think that they're like Neo, because Neo is like special to me in another way. But like I was like, whoa, cool, like Neo in the sense of
Yes.
there's like some really crazy range here, and like wow, like
I was singing that too.
you were.
Well,
Yeah.
because Play Flowers and Kaleidoscope has a Spanish flair at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, but there was more of a transition, so the darkness kind of crept up on
Yeah.
you. This, there was like a full stop.
Yeah.
But that's because
It was another song.
Another song.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah,
Yeah.
the instrumental was insane. But I agree. I think that the songs had to kind of go together.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then, the next song was Alison Hell.
Jeez, yeah. That was a terrible story.
That's a smart play on words.
because Alison.
Her name is Alison.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it sounds like
funny.
Alice in.
Right.
That's very good. Very smart.
Uh-huh.
What's a terrible story?
What happened to this girl? It sounds like she was a very fearful person, and then like she was creating all
Under
of this.
the bed at night. Yeah.
Yeah, like she was creating all this stuff, and you know how it says that perfect love casts out fear. Fear has torment.
Right.
So like she was tormented because she was just filled with all this fear, and then it was like, I don't know. Do you remember? Were you scared as a kid when you were at night?
No.
You never were. You never had that feeling.
Well, that's because we had real monsters to contend with when we were growing up.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
we were scared, but not of like imaginary shit.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's true.
I never had the whole "there's a monster here," blah blah blah.
Oh.
There was a monster in the living room,
Wow.
so I wasn't worried about that.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess I feel like weird to like just move off that. Like that's really terrible what you just said.
Well, I mean, it's no secret.
Yeah, I know.
I've talked about.
Yeah,
growing
I
up.
know. But just the thought of a child not having like fears of monsters because there's actually legit things to be is just sad.
Well, that's a lot of most people.
Really?
Yeah, you lived a very interesting life.
Well, I remember being like scared, you know, afraid that something was in the closet or under the bed, or you know, sometimes I could hear something. I would feel like I hear something walking across the carpet. It's dragging its foot, and I legit felt like I could hear it, like because I would, and I think like I don't know, the more scared, and then I'd say, okay, this.
Well, I remember hearing stuff like that, but I was never afraid of it.
What, you weren't?
Yeah, for some reason, like I never really thought to myself like that shit shouldn't happen. I used to sleep up in the attic,
Nope, I wouldn't have done that.
and you'd hear stuff all the time.
Like the house settling noises, or do you think there was actually something going on?
Well, again, I never even thought about it. There was other shit I was worried about, but I remember like you know like I hear that, but I never really.
Oh wow.
And it's probably the house settling or something like that. You know, like I don't really think that. Like I don't like if you're a ghost or you're some like supernatural spirit. Like
Yeah.
why would you want to walk around a house to you know like what are they trying to do? Are they trying to crawl like on Fortnite? Like
No,
trying to be
no.
quiet?
I think that they. Well, I just assumed that they feed off fear, like it brings them joy, like to see people afraid, to see people tormented.
Yeah.
So then that's why I never wanted to show it.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, pull up my blanket, but inside I was like, ah!
right?
I'd pretend I didn't hear it. I was too prideful to let the evil whatever.
we
I would
had
think it
the
was working.
Metallica song, you know, the Enter Sandman one, where the
Yeah.
parents like working with the kid through it or whatever. This one,
the kid's left to herself.
well, at minimum, because it says you're trapped in the basement.
No, I don't think that means the basement.
You're in the basement.
I don't think it means the basement, though. You're trapped in sanity, and then it says, as I close the door. I think that it's talking about the basement. I think that it's insanity. She's losing her mind. She's being trapped in the basement, which is the segregation, the depths. I don't think that it means she was in the literal
I
basement,
think
because
her
it's always
parents-
talking about
I think
in her
her
room,
parents
too.
locked her in the basement.
Maybe, I don't
You know how
think
people do crazy shit to
Oh,
crazy
I
people
know.
back in the day?
I know.
It wouldn't surprise me if
No,
was
it
like,
wouldn't.
if her parents did that.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either.
You know what? People didn't really know how to deal with mental illness back in the day.
No, they didn't. And I also think that there was a different, I think there was a different level of pride. Like, remember, like, back then, like, I was talking to somebody, and, so this woman is, like, almost 100 years old now. So, like, whatever, 100 years ago, she, and I don't know if it was her that got divorced, or if it was her parents. It was her parents. Her parents got divorced. And people would, like, go to the other side of the street. She'd be walking to school, and people would see her, and they would go to the other side of the street because she was the daughter of a divorced family. Like, that doesn't happen now. Like, now it's like there's so many divorces happening and stuff, sad as that is. People
Right.
don't go to the other side of the street. Now, people might look at you in judgment, certain groups of people, and then other groups of people, it doesn't even really faze them. But back then, forget about it. Crossing the street because, and it wasn't even her, it was her parent, that's wild, you know what I'm saying? So there's different levels of, like, now, so I'm saying, like, things are different now, like maybe you were more ashamed of, like, a crazy person in your family then because it reflected on your family.
It's like I said, I was the crazy person in my family, and they all kind of, like, circled around me and made sure I was okay.
Yeah,
You know? But
Yeah.
we were horrible with mental illness
right.
to people.
Oh, I know. Some of the stuff that they did, like the drilling holes and pulling people's brains out and zapping their heads and, like,
Yeah.
all that stuff is,
Well,
like,
we still do
what the heck?
We still do electroshock therapy. We still do that.
I don't agree with that, but I don't know enough about it. But I feel like that can't be good for somebody's head.
There's science behind it.
It helps them?
I mean, obviously, my perspective on these things is it's deeper than just physical. But if you have
Right.
a naturalistic view of the world, then
Yeah.
that's your best shot.
Yikes.
But yeah, so it just seems like you know, when I saw the basement thing, because I'm like, where are the parents?
Yeah.
You know, you see things like you lost your doll, it isn't worth a dime. It just seems to me that all the girl has is her doll, because, and of course,
it's
you know,
not a very nice doll, I guess.
the record has a doll with she's holding there's
got a bunch of
stairs
dolls
have
all
a
over
bunch
the
of
place.
dolls on it.
But then it looks like there's a doll coming in that door that looks all creepy.
Well, there's something. That's probably the thing that's tormenting.
No,
her.
but look how small it is.
Yeah, probably some terrible elf or something. But like, I just imagine, like, little kids, like, having that type of fear, and then it's hell.
Yeah, and then, like, if you're right and they locked her in the basement,
God almighty.
like, I can't imagine, like, you're scared as it is in your own bedroom, but now you've just been moved to the basement and your fears followed you there. Like, yikes. That's sad. It's terrible.
And of course, who knows? Maybe the thing that, you know, maybe she disassociated so much that the thing that was in her head psychologically was just a manifestation of her parents or an abusive parent. You know, because it says,
Yikes.
like, if I'm right, you're in the basement, right?
Yeah.
And then it's as I close the door. So it might be like a double where the parents closing the door, but in
Yeah.
reality, it's the in her head, it's
Yeah.
the monster closing the door because, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
I
I
just
see what you're saying. I was picturing it as the fear locks her into her insanity. Closes the door, locks her in the basement, stuff like that. There was a line where it says, like, I died at birth or something like that. Was kind of weird.
Yeah,
I think that meant.
that's interesting.
Yeah. I think it was down a little bit further.
Uh,
I think it was.
well, we'll just do the nifty Control F thing and type in birth, and there we go.
Oh, it was just a little bit further down.
Isn't it frightening? Aren't you scared? I was killed at birth. Yikes! So that's probably, like, that's the entity that's following her around in her head. Maybe she had a sister that was stillborn or something like that, because that used to happen back in the day too.
Yeah. Ouch. Ouch. My word. And then, you know what? That would be like, that would create, you know how, like, sometimes when parents have a stillborn, it kind of like messes up the parents.
Yeah.
And so then there's like this, sometimes they have like this resentment toward the child that's alive. I'm not sure how that happens or why that happens, but like, I don't know the science behind that, but Like, I mean, I didn't have a stillborn, but when I had the miscarriage, like, it made me, like love Selah and cling on to Selah more because she made it.
Right.
You know, so I don't understand the opposite of that happening.
Well, I mean, we're kind of going through that a little bit, though, with this one, because feeling happy about this one, feeling guilty about...
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. If I feel, like, too happy about this one, then I feel like, what if the other one thinks that I was not sad because of where I was in my life and the type of people that I was around, the church that I was going to. I didn't feel like that I could, like, properly cry about it. It's weird because you think that being a part of a church where they're pro-life, that they would like understand the depth of the pain of losing a child the most, right. But they didn't really. It was almost like, it was really like they were acting like it was just a fetus, like, you know what I mean, like not really a baby, but just, you know. So it's weird. So you don't, like, you feel like everybody just wants you to just get better and not be sad. So, like, I didn't show my sad. Kind of just locked it in.
Well, a lot of people, like, are very, very uncomfortable with people expressing negative emotions. So here it's like fear, and the parents don't know what to do, it looks like, because, you know, she's scared and she's irrationally scared, and apparently, I'm assuming they tried to calm her down, and now they just locked her in the basement. You know, like...
Yeah, I don't know. So you think the hell is the basement?
No, I think the hell is her mind. I think living in constant fear all the time is a hellish way to live.
For sure.
I also think that, you know, and I think it's tough for the parents, but, you know, this is supposed to be a, you know, scary thing, but it's just eminently sad to me.
Oh, me too, yeah.
There are a lot of kids that went through this, and, you know, I'm glad we've advanced to the point where we recognize mental illness and, you know, we understand that, and there isn't so much of a social stigma. I mean, there still is a social stigma. When I was going through my stuff and I was in the hospital, you know, my mom, like, they had a hard time. You got a kid in the hospital, you know, like, there's still sort of a stigma around it. But not like, and no matter what time period, my mom would never have done this. Like 200-300 years ago, like no matter what I was going through, she never would have done that. Because she struggled with mental illness herself.
Well, I was just thinking that. I was thinking, well, that would make her see things a little bit differently, you know?
Yeah, it is. It's difficult for people who've never had mental illness to understand a person that does have it. Because to them, it's like, you know, when you talk about major depression or something, they'll say, well, yeah, but everybody gets sad.
Yeah.
Or, you know, this level of paranoia. The girl's probably paranoid schizophrenic to some degree. It's like, well, everybody gets scared. It's like,
not to this level.
These people are living in a complete different universe than you. Like, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm, like, always, like, be careful with this whole just suck it up and deal with it. Like,
for sure.
Be careful. You don't know what people are going through, and you don't know what it's like to be them. That's the other thing. Is like, I've got people in my family who went through the exact same situation where it affected them completely differently because it's them, and you can't read how you would handle something onto another person.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, this is tough stuff, and I was fortunate to have had a mother that had mental illness, so she could understand what I was going through.
Right.
And of course, a person could say, "Well, the reason you have mental illness is because you inherited from your mother." Maybe there's epigenetic factors. I don't know. I don't care.
Well, I would think that, yeah.
All I'm saying is, you have a much better shot if the person has went through it a little bit themselves and understands it a little bit and knows that it's not just a get yourself out of it type of thing, and no, there are no
maybe it's a gift that, like, if there was, you know, X amount of people with mental illness that were going to be born, maybe it's a gift that they're born to parents that have the same issues that can help them and understand them.
Yeah, and I just think we just need to, you know, I think most people want to live happy lives. Most people want to be happy, and most people are not trying to create. You know, people say, "Oh, I'm sure all this is for attention," and blah 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 blah. You know, all the hard parenting stuff. You know, like, "Oh, let them cry it out," and like This girl is obviously troubled and terrified.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of these kids didn't make it back then.
When I was,
So,
I had this opportunity to go. Well, it started out, but the stuff fell through, and I wasn't able to do it. But there was a mission that I was going to take, going to another country, which I can't name, and there was this woman that had gone to this orphanage, and like, she kept praying, and she kept praying, like asking God, like, help me to be able to get in there and do like what I need to do, but like nothing was like working out for her and stuff. And then she went in and she was like looking, and she said that it didn't really look that bad. Like she kept hearing that it was really bad at this orphanage, but it wasn't as bad as what she was hearing, you know? So she would go in there and she would just like go around. And then like one day, like I think like God told her like to bake some cookies. And so she baked some cookies, and then she went in, and the woman and she like prayed a ton before she got in there. The woman at the desk said, go that way, they need those more than these children do. And she was like, okay. So she like went down this hall, and like anyway, she ended up in this separate building where there was the mentally handicapped children, and she said there was no heat in there, and it was really, really cold, and she said like their skin was like really like purplish because it was so cold, and they were kind of like piled in this room together, and like nobody was caring for them and stuff, and like so she passed out the cookies to them and stuff, and like her heart was like breaking. So she rallied together some people, and she ended up like, it was like a crazy story. Like people just started pitching in money and stuff, and she was able to buy the orphanage. And then she took it over, and then she like started caring, but she like needed help like caring for all these kids, and especially the mentally handicapped ones, because the amount of work that it's going to take to care for them is much higher than just another child, you know. And a lot of the kids had been so neglected that they like the babies wouldn't even cry, you know, like, and she was like, whoa, like, anyway, so like I was gonna get to go, and like, but it was like a really dangerous area and stuff, and everything had to be like completely undercover and stuff. But I think there was just way too much red tape for us to get through coming from America to go help her. But I saw a picture of her team. She had a huge team like of people that were helping, so that made me happy. But just sad to think that like, you know, like the regular kids were having it rough. They weren't even crying anymore, but like that wasn't bad enough. Like the mentally handicapped ones were
on this planet, if you're a handicapped child, forget it. It doesn't matter how developed the world is.
You're lucky if you even make it out of the womb, and if you do,
Iceland has virtually eliminated Down syndrome in their country. It's insane. It's crazy. And we think that we think we've evolved. Okay. All right. I was listening to a special about, you know, these kids in these orphanages who they just stop crying. Mm-hmm. They know nobody's going to come to them.
Yeah.
They piece it together pretty quickly. And some people say, yeah, so let's kill them before they get in that situation, or let's love them.
Right.
Because they're image bearers of God, and they're the most vulnerable parts of who we are. Mm-hmm. And it's how we treat kids in this situation is definitional of who we are as people.
Right.
Period.
Right.
But it's pretty terrifying stuff. Mm-hmm. Metal is such a crazy art form.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think Eminem could pull off a song like this and give it the import and the weight.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of different art forms could do it the way that metal does. Because with the guitars and the things like that, and there's so many, it's that instrument is so easy it's so easy to manipulate and create atmosphere. And so like I think that, you know, they could have easily just minor chorded this whole thing acoustically and made it sad and whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think it's brilliant to take something as sad as this and put it to something as foreboding as the way they did it instrumentally.
Yeah.
So I'd never heard of this band before. And you know, this is the way that Patreon works, right? Because we probably would have never done this band because there would, aside from this alliance,
right,
there wouldn't have been enough demand for this at all. What do you give the song?
This is different than Infinite Annihilator.
Yeah,
Or
this
it-
is not Infant Annihilator.
I didn't know if Annihilator was the band and then Infant was the name of the song or something.
No.
It's a totally different band.
It's a band. And no, this Infant Annihilator is not on our blacklist.
Yeah, it's not.
We're gonna get to them pretty soon here.
Jeez, I would give it like just. I don't know. I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time because the topic is very sad to me. To treat a child like that.
We're also rating the instrumental. Don't
I
forget.
know, that's a thing. It's so good. Like, I want to give the instrumental a 10. But the subject makes me sad, so it's hard for me to give a 10 to something that makes me so sad. But I guess it probably is a 10. I don't know. 9.8? I don't know. What are you giving it?
I'm giving it a solid 9.
You're one with a 9?
Yeah, good song, very good. Whatever.
The
I mean, I'm never gonna
instrumentals are
listen
really
to it
good.
again for the rest of my life, but
I would listen to the beginning right now.
it's a good song. It's just tough.
Yeah, it's very tough. So I guess I'll go with a 9.8.
It's a 9 for me. Shout out to my mom and my brothers for supporting me and loving me when I needed y'all. I appreciate it. All right, Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. Oh, one last thing. If you're one of these people, like, you're not a burden on anyone. I don't care what anybody says. You're a gift, and if the people around you are too selfish to realize it, you know, that's their loss. But you're a gift. And if you do have people that are loving you through it, and sometimes they're impatient with you, give them a lot of mercy and forgiveness, because it's tough for everybody involved. So there's that. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.